This video covers the IGCSE Biology Objective 1.2.6 on the 2025 CAIE syllabus to explain that the sequence of bases in DNA are used as a means of classification. So first of all, let's take a look at the basic DNA structure. So DNA is made up of four what's called nucleobases or nucleotide bases. Those bases have chemical structures that are pictured here, which you do not need to know at this level. You do just need to know the names: thymine, cytosine, adenine, and guanine. And typically we use the letters T, C, A, and G to represent those words. So each of these bases are paired up along DNA. They're called base pairs, and they pair across what we call a double helix. So basically it's a ladder with the bases as the rungs of the ladder, and then the ladder is twisted, and that is the structure of DNA. So what happens is these base pairs are arranged in a specific order for different types of organisms, and what happens is each offspring will inherit copies of their parents' DNA. So typically you would have similar order to your parents' DNA, and that's why you may look similar in one way to one parent and similar in another way to another parent because of the order of the DNA that you have inherited from them. But sometimes the order can change during the copying process when the copy is being made for fertilization. So how do we use this DNA for classification? So basically what happens is we look at the order of the bases in the DNA. So organisms that are more closely related to each other are going to have order of DNA bases that are in the same order or more similar order of those bases, the A, the T, the C, and the G, represented by these colors here. So in this diagram we have four different, three living organisms and viruses. So we've got the bat, the insects, the bacteria, and viruses. And if we look at the order of the bases in the section of DNA that has been pulled for these organisms, we can see they are completely unrelated to each other. There is really, so we're looking at two things. We're looking at the order and then I would say the width of the segment that has been pulled. So we do see that bats and insects both share a starting color that's the same, but the width is different. So that then tells us that it is a different bit of genetic information. So we're not even looking at a similar bit of genetic information. So these four types of organisms are clearly very different from each other. If we were looking at DNA, for example, between a horse and a donkey, because they are so closely related to each other, as we've discussed before, you probably will see many more DNA segments that are similar or maybe even identical to each other.